Hey everybody, it's Brad at Dayport Brothers LLC out in Versailles, Ohio. Gonna do another walk around video followed by an operational video on this 2004 Bobcat T300 that came in and we're putting up for sale. Like always, I'll walk around, I'll talk about the features and functions. I'll get up close to everything, I'll show you everything I see, tell you everything I know, and then of course we'll fire it up. We'll run it through its paces. We'll show you those pins are pretty tight up front. We'll let you hear the engine. Show the hydraulics are strong, show you that it turns strong to both directions. As always, if you are in the market for a used skid steer, a used piece of construction equipment, or a used piece of ag equipment, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. Your likes and subscriptions help other people who are looking for equipment find our videos and find our machines, and we truly, truly do appreciate it. All right, like I said, this one is a 2004 Bobcat T300, cab, heat, air, high flow, ACS controls, power Bobtach. This one has deluxe panel. Of course, being an 04, it is a pre-emissions KUBOTA diesel engine, 3,664 hours. Cranks up, hydraulics are strong. Like I said, here in a little bit, we'll fire it up. We'll show you these pins up here are pretty tight. There's just a little bit of play, and that's really kind of more, it seems like, in the between the coupler and the bucket. This is basically a new light duty bucket, so I'm not so sure that it's maybe not just in this bucket. These are a lighter duty bucket. The pins actually seem fairly tight. We'll show you that here in a little bit. Like I said, they don't really move much. It's more down here in the bucket and the coupler where they come together. As I get up close to it here, you'll see the paint has started flaking off. Especially the worst is around the edges and on the loader arms. You'll kind of see that here. Being a 21-year-old machine, it's not awful. It's just kind of got a lot of surface rust where the paint has wore off. It would be a good candidate for a good proper sandblasting and a good paint job, and then you would have a pretty square machine. Like I said, pins are tight down here. As I go around, I'll talk more about the machine and what I know about it. But as you can see here, paint has flaked off around the edges especially and started peeling away, especially on that front and down here on the lower sections of the loader arm. Up here, the rest of the loader arms are fairly straight. No huge dents or dings, but you'll see there's some scuffs and scratches. There's a few spots here with some paint chips. So we just traded this machine in. It is technically a two-owner machine. The guy that we traded in from has owned it for, I believe he said, at least the last 10 years. He bought it from the original owner, which was a little bit bigger company, and he knew the head mechanic there pretty well. And he said that he was comfortable buying from him because he knew it had a good maintenance program while it was owned there. As you'll see here up along the side of the machine, the white paint is pretty bright for a 21-year-old machine, but it is, again, like I said, flaking off and chipping off. Started around the edges like they all do, and it's just starting to flake away. Again, like I said, scuffs and scratches up there. The tracks, I'll get up close to them. The tracks he put on them brand new last year. He said they have less than 100 hours on them. As you'll see here, very deep tread depth there on these tracks. No weather checking to speak of. They are the C pattern lugs there. Lots of life left here in these tracks. Like I said, he put them on last year in less than 100 hours. Sprockets are very good there. As you can see, lots of life left there in those sprockets. I believe he told me he replaced these rear idlers as well when he put the new tracks on. And as I step back and show you the side rail, this undercarriage here, you'll see doesn't have a ton of the original gray paint or anything there, but it is structurally sound, just missing the paint. Obviously 21-year-old used skid steer. Coming back here, looking at the rear corner, again, the paint has flaked off starting at that bottom edge and is starting to work its way up all the way around. Otherwise, you can see here probably the original decals just starting to flake off and stuff. Nice and straight though, no big huge dents or dings. As you can see there, just like I said, scuffs, scratches, and the paint is flaking off. Coming around to the back, the orange on the back door is actually still very bright. The way he made it sound is it really didn't set outside much at all in its life. That's part of why this you'll see a lot on these older Bobcats. These back doors, they sure don't look orange anymore. This one actually still does. No huge dents or dings there, just typical scuffs and scratches. You know, you've got some scuffs and scratches down here on the bottom, but I'm not seeing any huge dings. Doesn't look like it's been backed in anything hard or anything like that, just some scuffs and scratches. Everything's pretty square there. On the exhaust pipe, you'll see on a lot of them where those get kind of dinged up real bad. It's got a little bit of a ding right there. The gray is starting to get a little thin here, very common on these older machines. Usually up here and on the top of the cab, that gray got really thin really quick and showed some surface rust. Otherwise, pretty square. A little bit of a dent right there in that black mesh. Otherwise, fairly good there. Back side of that cab, everything looks good and square. Coming around to the backs, or this corner back here, again, just typical scuffs and scratches. What white paint is there is still pretty decently bright, but it does have scuffs and scratches. And again, the paint has started to flake around the bottom edge and up here along this side. As you can see, not as bad on this side as it is the other side, but it is starting to. There's just a little bit of concrete splatter. The guy that traded this one in traded in on another T300 that we had. He just has had such good luck with this machine that he wanted to update, and he was between 770s, 870s, and finding another T300, and he just went with another T300. He liked the pre-emissions engines that these had. These Kubota diesel engines were really good. Looking at the tracks on this side, as you can see, match up really well to the other side. Like I said, he said they have less than 100 hours on them. Very, very deep tread bars. No weather checking there to speak of. Again, sprockets are very good. Lots of life left there. Rear idler's good. And again, taking a small step back here and showing the side rail. Like I said, on the other side, really not much of that original gray paint left, but structurally is very sound. It's not rusted through anywhere, not thin or anything like that. And then down here on this side, again, that white paint is fairly bright for a 21-year-old machine, but it is chipped off and flaking off in spots, scuffs and scratches, especially starting around the edges like they all do and starting to flake away. Looking at the loader arm on this side, again, I don't see anything. No big dents or dings, nothing that looks like it's been cracked or welded or plated anywhere. Just, again, paint flaking around your edges, scuffs and scratches. And like I said, on the other side, the front of the loader arms and the sides up here are worse as far as the paint chipping off. Again, surface rust where the metal has been exposed. I don't see anything that looks like it's been cracked or welded on the back of the skid steer mount plate on either side. Everything looks pretty good there. Like I said, light duty 84-inch bucket here. Everything looks pretty square there. No huge dents or dings. Cutting edge is flat. I don't see any big bows or anything there. We'll take a good look at that front again here in a little bit when we go take a look at the cab and the interior. For now, we'll come back here and take a look at the engine. And the reason that everybody likes these old Bobcats. Pre-emissions Kubota diesel engine. As I get up close here, you'll see very dry. A little bit of dust and dirt in here, a little bit of paint peeling there on that valve cover. Nothing out of the ordinary there. But down here, side of the block, I don't see any oil or diesel or antifreeze running. Same here, injection pump, everything looks good there. He serviced it last winter, 35.88 on the hours, 12.7 to 24. I can tell you at the time of this video, the AC is blowing cold. He told me that, I think it was roughly 3 years ago, he spent close to $2 grand on new stuff for the air compressor. I think air compressor, condenser, a couple other things, because it had quit working. Since then, he says that he has to add 1 can of Freon about every spring, and the AC stays cold all summer long. I can tell you at the time of this video, it is working. But he did tell me that about every spring he has to add a can, even though just roughly 3 years ago he spent, like I said, I think he told me it was around $2 grand to have everything fixed. Inside of that back door, everything looks good there. Go take a look at the cab, the interior. All the glass seems to be good. The cab, everything around the top, everything looks pretty square. No major damage or anything there. Glass is good on the door. Again, like I talked about and kind of shown. The front arm plates and this main plate up here, as you can see, a lot of that paint has chipped off, scratched off. Would make a good candidate for, like I said, a good sandblasting and a fresh paint of coat of paint. Would look really good. That step's nice and square. That shock is strong on that door, as you saw there. Okay, in here on the seat, some dirt and stuff there. The bottom seat cushion, there's one small little tear right there. Let me climb in here so I can, about the width of my pinky there, little tear, small one right here, and it's starting to get thin there in these little indentations on the lower cushion. Big cut in the back cushion. I'm sure this is probably the original Bobcat seat, 21-year-old. That vinyl just gets hard and starts to crack, which just happened there. Climb in here, take a look. Like I said, this one is ACS controls, so you can select between hand running it in H pattern, or like case patterns, what a lot of people would call it, or hand and foot like your traditional sticks and pedals. Looking at the joystick on this side there, you can see all the toggle switches are pretty good. The little rubber pieces down here have worn off. Almost all of them are gone. Pretty common for these, especially being 21 years old. Trigger looks good on the back side. Actually, this bottom rubber boot, everything looks pretty square there. All the toggle switches on this joystick look good. Again, rubber down here is pretty well all gone. Trigger's good on there. This rubber boot looks good here. Like I said, this one does have Deluxe Panel. You can probably hear the AC blowing behind me. Like I said, AC's blowing cold. 3664 on the hour meter. So just shy of 100 hours. I believe it was 3588 if I remember right when we were back there when the oil was changed. You can see here all the buttons are good. Selectable for your ACS controls, power Bobtach, park brake button there. Door looks good. It's got the fan blower. Oh, HVAC controls are up here. Windshield wiper there. I believe this is an aftermarket radio, but it does not work. Let me put it this way, I couldn't get it to work. Maybe you're smarter than me, maybe you can get it to work. That won't take much to be smarter than me, that is. Looking at the headliner here, pretty clean honestly for a 21-year-old machine. Couple little dirt stains, couple little small speckles of grease here and there, but not too bad. And like I said earlier, backside of that skid steer mount plate looks good. Up here where both the cylinders come up, everything looks good there. I don't see anything that looks like it's been cracked or welded on either side there. A lot of times you'll see that where stuff gets broken off up here. These both look good. All right, like I said, this one's a 2004 Bobcat T300. 3664 on the hours. Lots of photos on our website. That's listed down below in the description. If you have any questions, comment down below. We'll fire it up and get right into an operational video.